As a countryside boy, being here in the picturesque parish of St. Philip and being here at Hunter Spring gives me no greater pleasure. It is indeed a very special place, and we will be speaking with the visionary, the creative mind, the director of Hunter Spring himself, Mr. Rory Hunt. This is Positive Pulse, and I'm your host, Rashid Holder. Rory, welcome to Positive Pulse, and thank you for having us on your lovely, I want to say foyer. I don't know what you call it, but as a man of the outdoors, you can tell me, where we are and how you even came about to, conceptualize Hunter Spring.
Okay. All right. Well, first of all, welcome to Hunter Spring in the Republic of St. Philip.
The Republic.
No less. Yes. Okay. So how do we conceptualize this? I will start by saying it was entirely very selfish. My wife and I, Carla, we used to entertain a lot, and we used to have parties actually out here on the back lawn. Mm-hmm. And then one year after, we'd had a couple of events, same parties, but, they became very well attended. So we started to think, well, needed some space. And came home one day and monkeys were pulling my sweet potatoes out of the ground. Ah. I never knew monkeys used to forage like that.
And I thought, well, desperate then.
Well, something, but I figured if they can attack my stuff or use my space, I can use theirs.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, let me just go down there. I knew from stories from yonks ago, people like John King and Ian Allen that lived in the immediate environs.
You're surrounded by some creatives.
Yeah. But they used to talk about playing cricket down here in this gully and so on. So it told me that, well, there hasn't been water flowing through here for a long time. Mm-hmm. Let me just start looking at the space. And I, just started to pluck a couple of trees, and I thought, wow. And I actually have this panoramic photo of what it looked like after I initially took some of the trees out. And I thought, wow, this is breathtaking.
It needs to be shared.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and it was purely for us and our friends initially. Yeah. That drew me to doing this or even looking at it, Mm-hmm. But then once I got down there, and the trees sounds a little spiritual, but the trees started to talk, and they said, "Oh, come."
And what did they
come.
say?
They say, "Come, build it, they will come."
Yeah.
You've seen it in a movie before. It's
create
the same thing. Create the space,
and people will definitely
absolutely come and enjoy. I'm telling you, the trees love it.
As I look around, obviously, as you said, it took some time to develop the space. Why did you see the need to even develop this space, and who exactly are you catering for?
Right. So once we'd gotten past the, let's just do it for our friends and stuff, because, the deck ended up being quite large. Yeah. And then you start to see things, the vision starts to get clearer and clearer. Yeah. You originally start with, okay, let's do this. But then as you go, you start to see, and the plan starts to develop and other things start to happen. You start to think, rather than just 2 parties a year, we could actually do something else. Yeah. And then this is sturdy enough, and we actually over-engineered the deck, so it's very, very strong, very sturdy.
So it has structural integrity.
Absolutely, that. Absolutely. And then the visions just come, because it's there, it's in the space. The space is crying out for use as well.
You're speaking like a creative.
But I am. I absolutely consider myself a creative. I may not play an instrument.
Yeah.
I may not act. I may not sing, but I certainly am creative in how I approach my business.
Yeah.
And we can talk about that in a little more detail when we talk about, maybe some of the other things that we do. But once we started, it literally was, okay, let's evolve. We moved from nascent to a little more, and then we add a little more, and then you try to sleep at night. I won't say go to sleep. You try to sleep at night, but then everything bombards you. You think, okay, well, let's do this. Well, we can do that. We can do that. We can do that. Why not? And then you've got to literally now sit and be a lot more strategic. Mm-hmm. Lay it out, think about the pluses and the minuses, throw that away,
Add
and add in this.
Who are we
you know,
going to be catering to
correct,
specifically?
correct. Start to focus now
what
on
does this look like?
correct. What is it that we're really going to achieve? What is achievable?
Yeah.
Without being harmful in any way.
Yeah.
Because and harmful
Or
has
compromising the space,
or compromising. Yeah, correct. Yeah. So we spoke to neighbors. You know, I literally walked the other side of the gully, and then obviously our neighbors are here, and I told them what the plan was, and well, we're here.
Yeah.
6 years later.
And by being here, right, what impact or who has been impacted most by or benefited from this space being here?
Right. And that's a very good question. Thank you for asking it. Two angles on this one. We wanted to ensure that the musical creatives
Yeah.
initially had another space and a very different space.
Yeah, because I could imagine some person coming here, even camping out, getting in touch with nature, and just feeling the vibes.
Right,
you know?
yeah, or doing yoga and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
That's how it speaks initially. But then once creators get into space, and James Lovell came here and did a performance. James started off by speaking to the ancestors. That's what he felt when he was down there.
Also, there's
But
something definitely that
There's
calls you.
oh yeah, there's stuff that
in this
happens
space for sure.
that happens in this space that is very spiritual. When James started, the audience was absolutely spellbound. Absolutely I mean, I stood up
When
here and I
next
watched
does he
him.
come in? Please, you gotta let me know.
Even though he actually said, you know, he's got to come back. No, but it was incredible. It was incredible. Very different, you know. Somebody said very organic. That was a term that was used. But it was just that. But he did him. That's something I say to all the creators. Come and do you. I'm not a producer that's going to say, I want you to sound like Whitney Houston. I want you to come and do
want it to be
Usher.
natural,
No, I
just
want
like
that's
how
right.
this ambiance
I want you to
is.
come and share who you are with the audience. So that's one aspect. So the creatives come and do them.
Yeah.
The other element is now the audience, because what I wanted to do was to build an audience for this space, people
Yeah.
that would enjoy this space. And that's why it's taken as long as it has for us to be here, because we don't advertise, we don't go mass media. You've never seen us on Good Morning Barbados, you've never seen us in the newspapers,
Anything of the sort.
or even on the radio.
I've never even seen you on the road.
Thank you very much. Right. Because when we started, we wanted to build this thing organically. We knew that people who enjoyed this
Yeah.
will know who would enjoy it as well, that's in their circle.
Hence why we found you.
I suspect so. I suspect so. You know, so it's really about building organically. But I was talking about the audience. There's an unserved or not as well served demographic in Barbados, and that is the 45s to 75s. Barbados is an aging population. You can look in any book, you can see, you know, the Prime Minister asking people to have more children, so
Yeah.
because we're an aging population. Now, that is a plus for us and a minus for the country, because we need to have young people in doing all the things
Doing all
and
the
then
productive
making,
things that when I get a little older.
you can get a pension, et cetera, from the government, right? But what it means is that we have this large, and I did the math on this, right?
It's an untapped market.
I don't say it's untapped, but it's not as well served as it could be.
Okay.
So what we wanted to do was ensure that we provided solutions, entertainment solutions, for that market segment, for that demographic, 45, 75, that they could come in a private, intimate, exclusive, and secure venue. They're not going to, what's the big ones? The Blisses and the other ones, you know, that's not their thing.
Yeah.
But they are still active. They still enjoy good entertainment. And that is where I figured we can slot right in. It sounds like a niche market, it is, but we can carve that up and do quality service
Yeah.
for that demographic. And that's what we do. When we started, one of the things that you will find here probably and very few other places, the tip of the spear is the guys that greet our audience.
Yeah.
security people. You are greeted with a nice warm welcome, and you're guided to where you're going to park your car. Once you park your car, you're guided to where you. So the tip of the spear is quality service.
Yeah.
And then, so that by the time you now start to enjoy what's on stage, you're already almost overwhelmed because it doesn't generally happen anywhere else.
It's like this is a wow factor that you're adding
Absolutely.
now before you even get to
before
the main
you even get to the
presentation.
main presentation, you're just like, oh my goodness, that was wow.
Yeah, and I mean, you've spoken about the brand, you've spoken about obviously how it's developed, and you know who needs to be impacted by it. You know, Hunter Spring, to me, when I heard Hunter Spring, I wasn't thinking this, in all
Right.
honesty.
Okay.
You know, so you tapping into that niche market, so to speak, and catering to that demographic, you know, it gives a sense of wanting to also give back to a community that has, you know, done well by you and for you over the years.
Right. And that's why we used to host our parties, Carla and I, before we even did this.
Yeah.
Right. It was literally just that. It was us giving back, because having lived abroad, you realize that we Barbadians take a lot for granted.
Yeah.
This, just sitting outside with all of this green, take a lot for granted. I go swimming most mornings, straight down to Browns Beach in the water. Couldn't do that for over a decade, my friend. I went in the water once when I was in England. Back, sure, it was a nice hot day, so I thought, jump straight in the water, straight back out, and ran straight home. It was too cold, it was horrible, it was not Caribbean. So, you know, we take a lot for granted.
So you're bringing that Caribbean kind of element and culture here.
That plus the fact that I find we take too much for granted. We have so much talent in Barbados. So what I'm trying to do, or what we're trying to do, is expose
The talent.
the talent to the audience that is underserved.
And definitely, you know, that is something that, you know, I want to say thank you. I don't consider myself a creative in the sense, as you said, that, you know, plays musical instruments or what's not, but just being here in this space, for the time that we've been here, I can definitely see why it was created, and I can definitely feel the impact of it, even though James isn't here, in addition to some of the other persons that have graced this space and will grace this space.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you for, you know, having the vision and the wherewithal to create Hunter Spring, and also for sharing it with us. Thank your wife as well for, you know, sharing this space, because there are not many people, I think, that, you know, would have something as lovely as you have here and would wish to, you know, place it in the public's eye, as you have done. So for all the work that's been put in, and, you know, for the time that has been spent, definitely want to thank you, Rory. And, you know, in true Bajan parlance, I want to say big ups to you.
I appreciate that. I would love to take the credit, but honestly, I am but a vessel. What channels through me, I would love to say it's all me, but it isn't. It isn't.
Well, this is what I can say on an ending note then. Through the Almighty's vision, and as you said, you are but a vessel, we have been able to witness the space that is Hunter Spring. With this being Positive Pulse, I can only leave you on one note. Get your maps out, put your location pin in, and take a trip up to Hunter Spring. This has been Positive Pulse. I'm your host, Rashid Holder, and thank you for joining us.